Hey Evil Dead fans, this is tutorial number 10 on how to make Ash's chainsaw hand from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Now, from the last one I told you what I was going to do with this cuff. And I've got it finished at this time. Got the dang heater kicking on again. Sorry about the noise in the background. It's going to happen here in a minute. What I did is I got that piece of steel and I rolled it completely around the cuff I'm going to use. Ended up cutting these pieces off of that other cuff. Now it's just mocked up right now. These aren't the bolts that I'm going to use. I'm going to use shorter ones. But make sure when you do cut it, you cut it where it attaches right here around that kind of rounded edge, because these marks right here actually attach two pieces of metal together right here. Right here around, you can see right here it attaches it. So don't cut those off. Make sure you leave those three holes. You can only see two, but there's actually three connecting holes together. What I did is I drilled through the top one on each side. Once I had it rolled, I drilled my holes through these connectors, and then I put the first one, this one right here, where I wanted it to go. I had it detached from the bottom part. Now when you roll this, you want to make sure you have a little more here, almost a complete circle. Actually a little more of a C shape, because I think it was out to about here originally, and I just recut it. And then what I did to attach it, so that bolt wouldn't be rubbing my hand, I actually just punched a hole through it, through the PVC here, so that whole head could go all the way through to connect it to the cuff. So the cuff's actually not connected to the inner cuff. It's just connecting the metal right here. Once I had that cut, I put the bottom part connecting to here, to where I want it, and I laid it on top of the metal cuff. And then I looked to see where I needed my second cut. Then I measured out my second cut, right here to here, and I cut that metal off. Not this top piece, the actual rolled piece. I cut it off. And once I had that, I set it back up again, connecting together. And then I found the hole I wanted to drill. But remember, drill this piece first, in that hole I was telling you about, that kind of pushed in. It's not really a hole, it's just kind of a pushed in part. I'm going to drill that out next. Once you have that, you put it back on to your cuff, and then you trace out the hole on the metal cuff. You punch that through, you make sure it lines up right by putting this back on. And then once you know that's right, then you trace out the inner hole for that bolt head, so you don't have it rubbing your hand. See how it's just flush? So it's not actually going to connect to the inner cuff. The inner cuff's going to be connected by the top handle and the side and the bottom connectors, not by this piece. But when you do this, you want to make sure you got just enough room for this to come in like this. It's butting together, which is fine. And I think it looks pretty nice like that. And you can actually make it shorter if you want to, but I put it right up to where the original design was, because like I said before, this is a lock nut that has nylon inside. See that blue? That's nylon. You can make it shorter, but I prefer it just to look nice. Now if you want to, you can go with a few different ways. You can actually have it going with that nut up top, or you can actually reverse it and put it downwards. It just depends on what you want to do and which model you've seen. But yeah, it's looking good. And I'm still going to trim off about a ½ inch here, because I'm going to tuck it in a little more. And it doesn't have that hinge, like I said, on this one. It's a nice clean look. It's a good looking cuff. It's got the weight to it. And it looks a lot better than versus if I would have just used the original little thin one. This looks way better. Nice and thick, has some weight to it. And of course, I'm going to dirty it up a little bit on the final patina. But that's where we're at right now. And also, I'm going to show you this. This is the handle. Now, if you have dents in the handle, if you have the metal handle, like I do, I use that stuff that I used to fill in that body part that I cut off. And I just filled it up. I have to sand it all down till it's rounded out because there was dents in here. And also, if you look on the Ash vs. Evil Dead, it has a rounded end on his chainsaw handle. Now, I just stuffed this full of tissue in here until it finally stopped, and then I put this milliput inside of here, and it's hardened up right now. And I'm gonna have to sand that down and round it out, and it's all gonna be painted black. But if you have an issue with dents, it's a nice thing to have a nice filler to do it. Just make sure you sand a lot of this paint off to give it a nice surface to do it. And also, when you cut this chainsaw handle, you want it to be about, let's see right here, it's about right there. You can make it a little longer if you want to, but this is the suggested look, is basically right even to where these caps are going to be. So that's what we have for now. We got a sweet looking cuff. I gotta admit, it looks really good, and I'm really one that changed one on my Evil Dead 2 one. I may do that in the future, I don't know. But it's really coming along, and once I hack off this 1/2 inch here and start putting the connectors from the top handle piece up top and one on the body and on the ones on the bottom of the body, then all we're waiting for is that chainsaw bar to come in. And once that comes in, we can get that fully mocked up and know where we're going to attach it, and then take everything apart, paint it up, start attaching everything. And the final step is actually going to be putting this piece on here. And there's one more thing. Oh, and the black electrical tape on the top of the handle. But for now, you guys have a great day.